So good morning students, we start with the lab for this week 13. Alright, so let me first of all start with my JCreator, and in the meanwhile I'll explain you the question. Alright, so we have to create a class overload and we have to define a method called test, and it should have three overloaded forms. The first form takes one parameter which is integer type and displays the value of that parameter. Second form of the test takes two parameters which are integer type, displays the parameter. And the third form, it takes two double parameters and it has a return type also which is double, and it returns the value, return value of the third form is the multiplication of the two parameters, so it multiplies. Then we have to create the main class, and it should contain the class overload, and we have to display the, we have to call the methods. Alright, so let's start with it. Okay, so let me just create a class, Java class. Next, what is the name? Let me just change the path over here, week 13. Okay, alright, so the name is overload. Let me just make a class called overload. Alright, so it takes three overloaded forms. So the first two are void because it doesn't say any return type. So public void test. Then it does display, it only displays the value of the and it takes one parameter int a. Let me just make it, and it just displays the value of the parameter, print ln and a. That's it. Second form, public void test. It takes two parameters which are integer type, int a, int b, and it returns the prints the value of the a and b. So system.out.println plus a plus, and I can print it in the same line, the value of b plus b. And the last one, the last function is it takes two parameters double type and it has a double type value. That means it returns a double type value. This function has a return type. So public double test, it takes two parameters, double a, double b, and what this method is doing? This method is multiplying the two parameters. It is returning the multiplication of two numbers, return a multiplied by b. So we are done with this. Let me compile this program. I have an error here. Yeah, I didn't put comma here. So done. Now we create a main class for this. Main class. What's the name? It's method OVL demo. METH OVL demo. So it's my main class. I will create the object of the class overload over here. So overload OV is equals to, you can give any name, new overload, and OV dot test. If I pass one parameter, if I just pass one parameter, it will display the first function. Okay, OV dot test 2321 comma 1122, and here I give 2000, and the last one was OV because that returns a type, so system.out.println OV.test, and I have to pass over here two parameters, 2, 3. That's it. All right. Okay. 2.1, 3.1. Alright, so it was either I should write 2.0, I can make it 2.0 and 3.0 maybe. Alright, so this first function will call the first test because it takes one parameter. Second call over here will call the second test method, which takes two integer parameters, and the third one will display the multiplication. So it will be 2300, these two numbers, and 6. So this was the first question. Let's go to the second question now. Write a program that has a class, namely maximum, which has a method max3. It takes three integer values as the arguments and return the maximum of the three numbers, right? And then you need to add overloaded method that does the same thing with the three double values. So we need to find out maximum of three integers and maximum of three doubles, and the function name, the method name is max3. We are first of all passing three integer values, and then we will pass three double values. Alright, so let me just create a class, Java class, name is maximum. Alright, okay, so the function name is, alright, so it returns the value. Because it returns the value, so I will take it as an integer type. It takes three int values and the function name is max3. So public int max3. So I am going to pass three values, int a, int b, int c. Alright, let me assume that, let me just declare a integer called max, and I assume that my number a is max. We have already done how to find the largest of three numbers when we were using the if then else statement, so the concept is the same. Let me assume that my first number is the largest number, so I will compare first number, second number with the max and third number with the max. So if b is greater than max, then max is b, and similarly I will compare c also. If c is greater than max, then max is c, and at the end here return max. Since it is not void, it returns an integer, so it is returning an integer, so it will return max. Alright, so same thing, we are going to create another function which will return maximum of three double values. So public double, it's an overloaded function, max3. I will take the same thing, double a, double b, double c. I will do the same thing, double, I will declare a max is equals to a, same thing I will do it, so I can copy the code actually. Alright, done. So I have done the same thing. Let's check, it's okay. Now let's create the main class. So I will create the main class over here. Let me just create the main class. Let me just give it a name, test max. Alright. Now I will create the object of the previous class, maximum m1 is equals to, you can give any name, maximum. So system dot out. Okay, if I don't write system dot out dot println, it won't print anything. System dot out dot println m1 dot max 3, and I have to pass 3 either integers or doubles. So let me just print over here. The maximum of 3 integer values is plus m1, and I will pass 3 values over here, maybe 5, 8 and 2. So it should return me 8. Same thing I will do over here. I can copy this line. The maximum of 3 double values is 5.8, 8.9 and 12.1. Alright, let's check it. It's an error here. So done. Here it should return 8 and here it should return 12.1. So the maximum of 3 integers is this, and the maximum of 3 integer values is 3 doubles is 12.1. You can use the scanner class over here, and you can take the number from the user also. Try to do this program with the scanner class. You have to declare now 3 integer type values and 3 double type values. You have to take 3 double values from the user, 3 integer values from the user. So you can try the same question with the scanner class. Alright, moving on to the next question, question number 3. Alright, let me just show you how to use the scanner class here. I will just do with the integers. Import java.util.scanner. You can enhance this program with the doubles. Alright, so scanner kb is equals to new scanner system.in. Even the previous program you can try with the scanner. Better you should go with the scanner class. I'll prefer that. Alright, so I have to declare 3 numbers. Okay, let me just not declare over here system.in. Alright, system.out.println enter 3 integer values. So enter 3 integer values. I will do int a, int x is equals to kb dot next int. Same thing I will do int y is equals to kb dot next int. Sorry here. Alright, then same thing I will do int z is equals to kb dot next int. Now here instead of passing the value, I will just pass the parameters x, y and z. So whatever is the bigger, it will print it. So let's see, let's just check it. So first of all, I have to enter 3 integer values, and let me just make it 9, 4, 5. So the maximum of 3 integer values is 9 and the maximum of doubles is 12.1. Similarly, you can and hence you can take the 3 double values also from the user, and you can try with the scanner class. Alright, moving ahead now. I'll do the first 3 exercise. Last exercise you can try by yourself. Alright, so here we have to create a class called customer. It should have private instance variables. Private instance variables, 5 private instance variables: ID, name, address, phone, and email. ID should be, I think, integer type, rest all can be string type. Now within the customer class, we should have an overloaded method, and the overloaded method is custinfo, and we have to overload the method. So like in the first method, we can just pass ID, name, address, and phone number. And in the second method, if you see over here, set ID, name, address, phone number, address for a customer object by calling the first method. So here inside a method, I have to call the previous method, and then we have to define a method called display to display the value of all the instance variables, and then the test class. Alright, so let's create the first of all customer class. It's a Java class. Let me make it give it a name customer. Alright, so I will read the question line by line. Okay, create a customer class. Now 5 private instance variables, so it has 5 private variables. Let me just declare the variables. Private int ID, private string name, address, phone, and email. So these are 5 data variables. Now going to the next, now I have to create a custinfo method. In the first set custinfo method, I will just set the ID, name, address, and the phone number for a customer object. So I will create a public method, public void set custinfo, and I will just, because I have to create a overloaded method, so I will just use the first 4 variables. Int ID1, you can use the same name, then you have to use this variable. Like if I use over here int ID, string name, then I use string address. That's it, because I have to use ID, name, address, and phone also. String ph. I have to set the value of the variables. Now because here the name of the local variable is same as the name of the instance variable, so this dot id is equals to id. So the id on the left hand side will refer to the instance variable, and id on the right hand side will refer to the local variable. Rest all I can use like this. Name is equals to n, no need of this. This is used when instance variable and the local variable have the same name. So address is equals to at, and phone is equals to ph. Alright, so this is done. Now going, alright, now what does it says? We have to create another custinfo method because it's an overloaded method. Now we will set all the parameters: ID, name, address, phone number, and email. Alright, so how to do it? We have very important point over here. I'm going to explain you in a while. Public void set custinfo, and I will have the same thing. Let me just give the same parameters over here, and string, so the last parameter is email, string email. Alright, now here one important point to note over here it sets all these parameters by calling the first method. So here, because we have already set all these parameters, id, string, name, address, phone, no need to repeat it over here. We can call this first info set cust info method inside this method. How to call it? I will just write over here set cust info, and I will pass id and address and phone. Now please remember, these variables should match these variables. Alright, and then I have to set email. This dot email is equals to email. Why this? Because instance variable and the local variable, they have the same name. Alright, moving ahead. Again, we have a method called display method. It just displays the value of instance variable. So again, it's a void method, public void display. It doesn't take any parameters. So I just have to display the values of the variables. System.out.println id is, oh, sorry, id is plus id. Similarly, I can copy this statement and so here name is plus name of the instance variables, then address is plus address, after address it's phone number, and the variable name is phone, and the last one is email. Okay, email. So type the name of the instance variable, email. Okay, so done. Now we have to create the main class. In the main class, we have to create the two customer object, use each variation of the set cust info, and to provide the information for each customer object, display the contents. So we have to create the two customer objects. Let me go to the create a main class. Alright, is there any specific name given? Yes, customer test. So customer test. Alright, let me just create the two objects as given in the question. Please read the question, understand the question line by line. Customer C1 is equals to new customer. You can use the scanner class here. Try to use the scanner class by yourself. Customer C2 is equals to new customer. Then C1 dot set cust info. I'll pass the parameters. ID is, let me take it 1001. 1001. Okay, then is name. Let me just display over here Ruchi. Then address Jubail. Then phone is again string 0120. That's it, because it takes 4 parameters. I will create another C2 dot set cust info 1002 Asma Riyadh phone number is 1211. Then it has the email address also, the second variation of the cust info method, abc@gmail.com. right. Now I will, because this is okay now, it will not display anything because I have not yet displayed the method. Okay, infor, because there is no method called infor. It will not display anything because I have not yet called the display method. So my program is okay, nothing will be displayed. So c1.display, it will display the information for the first customer. c2.display, it will display the information for the second customer. Alright. System.out.println, let me just try with this so that it separates. Alright, let me just now, one important point I need to explain over here is, so this is the email is nothing, email is not set to, because email, it does not have any email, that's why it is displaying as null, because we didn't set the email over here. And here it is displaying email also. Now if you see in the second cust info, when this method is called, second customer info method is called, what will happen, it will first of all call the statement set cust info. So whatever the parameters we have passed, it will call the previous cust info method, set the parameters over here, and then email will be set. Why it is printing email for the first customer as null? Because over here we have printed the email also. So in email we have not passed any parameter, so that's why it is displaying it as a null. Try to do this program by using the scanner class, by taking the information from the user. So that's all for this class, and kindly go through this lecture, and if you have any concerns, we will have a online discussion class tomorrow, so you can raise your questions. Thank you so much.